Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're listening around the world. A very warm welcome from London in the UK. Here is today's news about electric cars and the future of transports. I go through every EV article online, so you don't have to. My name is Martin Lee, and this is your EV News Daily for Thursday, the 12th of April, 2018. Well, as a treat, or punishment, depending on your point of view, you get two podcasts today for the price of one. And as that price is free, I will give you a full refund if you are not satisfied. As well as the news edition, this one that you're listening to, you can hear the first in a series of shows about the infrastructure around electric cars. Now, we talk about cars a lot, but what's it going to take to make the whole ecosystem work and really drive EVs into the mainstream? So for the first episode, we head to the maker of some of the world's most luxurious cars, Bentley. Work starts this week on a new giant solar carport, which will be the UK's largest when complete, at 2.7 megawatts. Now, the company behind it is called FlexiSolar, and they'll be fitting 10,000 panels to frames, which will shelter almost 1,400 car parking spaces at Bentley's manufacturing headquarters near Crewe, here in the UK. Well, the carport will take Bentley's on-site solar capacity to 7.7 megawatts, having also installed 5 megawatts on the roof in 2013. And on our special edition today, we will talk to Adam Goves from the company. And if I do say so, I think it's a fascinating chat about how to use a car park as a power station for electric cars.
So we've been right from scratch, research, development, design, an integrated carport, a solar carport system with some EV charging points as well for Bentley. And that deal has come together. The paperwork was actually signed at Christmas, and we've been preparing site for build, and we're building as we speak. The first frames actually physically go into the ground on Monday, and that will be built 2.7 megawatts over just under 1,400 parking bays will be built this summer, and will be fully functional by September.
So if you are thinking of listening to that, I'm publishing the interview a few minutes after this show, so it should show up in your podcast feed and on YouTube right next to this one. I do hope you enjoy it, and I've got more interviews coming soon. But let's crack on with the news, and Pagani, the maker of hypercars, are electrifying at the recent Geneva Motor Show. Horacio Pagani, whose car company bears his name, committed to electrification. He said this: "There is electric car research already ongoing. That's not something you can just pretend not to see. That everyone is developing something in this direction. The management is already organising the company to have a division specifically for electric cars. Already, by the end of 2018, the idea is to have a section where electric cars can be developed and tested. The technologies and safety standards you need are completely different from any combustion engine car production. We're talking about 800 volts for the Pagani hypercar. So all of the training and the technicians will have to be up to the standards to work on such a vehicle." Well, moving on, and according to GM Authority, General Motors has officially responded to reports of isolated battery cell failure in the 2017 Chevrolet Bolt EV model. In response to the possible issue, the automaker's going to roll out a software update for Bolt EVs that dealerships will perform free of charge. The joys of not doing it over the air like a Tesla. Having to go back to dealers. Of course, you know, it's not really in the interests of legacy car makers to do things over the air, because getting you into the dealer is a good chance for them to say, "Oh, I saw your tyres and your brake pads and you might need a bit of work on this." That's not the way Tesla go about business. Anyway, that's probably a subject for a different podcast. Well, continuing with the article, GM told Inside EVs that the recall is not a safety recall, but did ask that all owners participate in the update. Some owners have reported battery cell failure that leaves the Bolt EV without drive power. Well, after analysing the OnStar data, GM noted the issue seems isolated to very early production units of the Bolt. Well, how do you fancy your EV sounding like an old-fashioned ICE car? Well, from those fast Paganis to record-breaking Tesla Roadster Gen 2s, or whatever we're meant to call the new Roadster maybe, to the crazy Rimac C_2, electric cars are not short of performance. But there are some people who think they're short of sound, and it seems like they want the old engine noise back. Well, Sound Racer, the company Sound Racer, have made a gadget that gets wired into your electric car to make it sound like your choice of angry combustion engines on the inside and on the outside. And there's a YouTube video online of what it sounds like. That's a Tesla that's been wired up with one. And to be honest, I kind of like the original sound of a Tesla. Well, on to Audi, and spy shots of the performance crossover SUV of the Audi SQ3, which is being built on the SQB platform, have been revealed. And that, of course, means that the door is open because all of these new platforms that are being developed for future cars, they are designed in such a way that it opens the door to a plug-in version of the performance Audi SQ3 and a full electric version could be on the cards. Well, auto guides say the current Q3 is actually the oldest model in Audi's lineup, so expect some fairly significant changes, especially since the segment has gotten a lot more crowded. On to Mitsubishi and Don Swearington, the Chief Operating Officer. That's such a great name, by the way. Don Swearington is the COO and Executive VP of Mitsubishi Motors North America, and he told Digital Trends in an interview published 2 days ago on Tuesday that the future's wide open for electrified cars. He made it clear that Mitsubishi is going to look at both plug-ins and pure battery electric vehicles. On the topic of electrified performance vehicles, Swearington, love it, specifically said, that's a great opportunity. I think our engineers in Japan would love to develop something like that. He added, read more at hybridcars.com. I would add, by the way, that Mitsubishi from a couple of years ago, before the Outlander PHEV, in my mind, maybe unfairly or not, were really struggling with nothing really on the market to sell, nothing that I would have even looked twice at. However, the Outlander has been a huge sales success in some parts of Europe. Here in the UK, you see loads of them as well, and it's really reinvigorated Mitsubishi along with the Nissan and Renault Alliance, of course. Well, until now, if any car company wanted to produce their models in China, well, they were looking at a joint venture with a domestic Chinese company. Well, them's were the rules. Now, though, according to SCMP.com, global car makers received a double dose of good news from China's President Xi Jinping on Tuesday. A reduction, firstly, in import tariffs and a raised investment cap with regards to mainland-based factories. New energy car makers like Tesla are set to become the top beneficiaries of this relaxation of the rules by Beijing on foreign ownership in the automobile sector. Well, coming first to mind is the Tesla factory that they've long wanted to make in China to make the vehicles domestically there, but they've not wanted to sign over 51% of the factory or 49% or whatever the percentage was of the joint venture. Looks like this could be a glimmer of hope for Elon Musk and the Tesla team to be making cars in China. Talking of Elon, by the way, there was an interview that was scheduled for earlier on today. That would be Thursday, the 12th of April. And then I've seen a couple of people saying actually it was going to get bumped forward to Friday. And then other people saying, no, it's definitely going to be today. So maybe if it's already been on, I'm talking about this in past tense, and if you're listening to this on Thursday, it's going to be happening in the future. This would be on CBS this morning. They've sat down with Elon Musk and had a walk around with Elon Musk, and it's the very first shots that we will see of the Model 3 production line. So either it was on earlier today or it's going to be on Friday morning. CBS this morning with cameras inside the Tesla factory and having a look at that Model 3 production line and a very stressed Elon Musk.
Tomorrow on CBS This Morning, he'll talk to us about how he's tackling recent production problems that have plagued the electric car maker, and he will give us a first ever look inside the assembly line for the Model 3. That's Tesla's first mass market vehicle. He's very smart, very serious. He's under the gun as well, and he has a lot of work to do, and he's ready to do that.
Well, I'd love to spread the word about electric cars. If you can, please share this with somebody who might be interested. Listen to every previous episode of the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, TuneIn, Stitcher, and the blog at evnewsdaily.com. You can subscribe. Now that means you get it first and free and automatically. And what's not to love about that? If you could, though, in return, just take 2 minutes to rate and review on whatever platform you consume this. Come and say hi on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter. Just search EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you tomorrow.